Peace be with you, and welcome to this talk show again. And we continue our sharing. Today we try to focus our attention in a very important point, that dialogue starts from God. Actually, we can say dialogue starts from God and brings people back to God. This was my journey, my experience. At least I'm talking about my personal journey of dialogue. And I mentioned in the first episode that I was in the mission in Siocon, Mindanao, Zamboanga del Norte, living with the Muslim. And it was in that occasion that I asked to myself why I have to be in dialogue. And this came part of my reflection. It's not something new, but I think in our life, when we discover something that is important, become new, become part of our dream and our aspiration. So with this, we can enter in one important point, why dialogue starts from God. And we have to go to the basic point of our faith, the mystery of the Trinity, the love of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit is so deep and so great, and so it's the source of dialogue. We do not elaborate this. And of course, if we go to this, we can understand that we are different from the other religions. But this is the point. Sometimes when people think that we are different, some people think that we can fight, or we have to convince the other to believe in our way. When we enter in the concept of interreligious dialogue, we have to be humble. We have to enter in a new dimension. And in this context, I like to quote one point of the document Nostra Aetate, a declaration of Vatican II, very simple but very powerful. This document starts to say, men expect from various religions answer to the riddles of the human condition, which today, even as in the former time, are still deeply heard from men. What is man? What is the meaning and the aim of our life? What is the moral good? What is sin? Hence, suffering. And what purpose that it serves? Which is the road to true happiness? What are death, judgment, and retribution after death? What finally, that the ultimate inexpressible mystery which encompasses our existence. Hence do we come, and where are we going? These are deeper questions that are in the heart of each person. And I think, according to the document of Vatican II, this give an answer why the different religions. And of course, we in Christianity, we think, we believe in what Jesus told us, and we are strongly convinced. But also we are very happy that other people, in their own way, they journey toward God. No? So we have to change the idea that we have to convert. We have to be witness of what we believe and respect what other people believe. And that is possible. This is the journey of interreligious dialogue. That is something that is a spiritual journey. It's not only that we apply in one occasion when we are together, Muslim, Christian, but it's an attitude, it's a style of life. This is what Vatican II tell us, and we try to enter in this dimension. Now, I remember when after this reflection personally and the different stage of my life, when I started to propose the idea of the Silsila dialogue movement in 1984 in Zamboanga City to a group of Muslim Christian friends, I said, yes, it is possible to be together, and we have to give emphasis to the spiritual dimension of dialogue. At the time, it was not very popular, the idea, because dialogue most of the time is considered there is a problem, we do dialogue, or some people find difficult to enter in dialogue because they think this is my faith, this is I'm right, you are wrong. And that was even for Vatican II, more or less, that was a kind of normal way for a Christian to believe. But thanks to God, all these signs of the time, we change our understanding, and we have to be grateful to the Lord of this understanding. So because of this, I remember that I said to the first group, yes, as a Christian we have to focus our mission, our attention on the spirit of the Beatitude. I find the Beatitude like the synthesis, the central part of the message of the Spirit of Jesus, and reflecting about the Muslim, thanks to my studies on Islam when I was in Rome for 2 years, and the appreciation also of the Sufi movement in Islam, I decided to choose the word silsila, that it's more a kind of meaning of chain, a link, but bring to a spiritual link. It's a very interesting concept. So I said to the group, yes, for the Christian, our journey will be more online with this spiritual journey, starting from the Beatitude, and to the Muslim, the concept of the great jihad. Great jihad is the struggle inside. Normally people, when think about jihad, have in mind the war, the conflict. In fact, even in Mindanao, the conflict started and many joined because of the concept of jihad. But now we have this concept that is real Islamic, and the Muslim really appreciate this concept of the great jihad. That was our beginning. It was a beautiful journey that still will continue. Today I have with me the joy, the honor to have with us Maminda, who is the president of Silsila Dialogue Movement, and she is practically one of the first member in our beginning. And how you perceive these things that we said, the spiritual journey, and how this understanding of the spiritual journey has affected your life and decision in life?
I would like to start by saying that it was in the context of searching for meaning in life that coming to Silsila, some of this desire was answered in this search for meaning. And then I understand fully that Silsila has a focus on the spirituality of dialogue. But the very challenging part here is me as a Christian, how am I going to be a witness to this spirituality as a Christian? And then how the spirit of the Beatitudes becomes like a guide, like an inspiration for me to deepen this spirituality of dialogue. And more so that being the animator of the Emmaus Dialogue community, following the example of Jesus, who journeyed with the two disciples on the road to Emmaus, and then the rediscovering that in this journey, in this vocation, in this dialogue experience, God is always accompanying us. God is the one who takes us the way and show us the way how to be in dialogue with ourselves, with others, with the creation, and most especially deepening in the very source of dialogue, who is God Himself. And then we say in Silsila, it's dialogue that starts from God and brings people back to God. So this Emmaus spiritual journey affected so much my life in my search for more. So now I have reached this far in this experience with Silsila, and it doesn't mean that I have reached the way I perceive to be experienced, but still the search for more continue to inspire me. Then, of course, in this stage of allowing God to guide in my search for more, this brings me to experience that after all, it is not me who is searching for God. It is God who searches me first, and then I just allow God to let Him be God in my life, and of course live the spirituality of dialogue in the way I understand. And as a Christian, and being inspired also by the spirit of Vatican II, its dialogue or interreligious dialogue as a mission today. And so this becomes a challenge for me in the movement itself. And how am I going to inspire others? So in my search for more and my search for God, this brings me to a degree, a level of being so happy with this experience and journey with Silsila.
You open one important point. You start to talk about Emmaus, and I think this will be for us an occasion to have another top show. And probably what you said will be in search for more. We will deepen that aspect in search for more, especially in the context you are lay, no?
Yes.
Lay
Yes.
consecrated. So maybe in the next talk show you will explain this, because will give us a kind of new understanding of how the concept of interreligious dialogue, instead of making us less Christian, become stronger Christian. So that is, and of course probably you can say as a president of Silsila, do you see that because of this journey, initial journey, the idea that we mention about spirituality, people understand this aspect? How is your experience in these years?
Yes, a lot of people who come to Silsila, especially for formation, like for example, the summer courses that we organized in Silsila, those participants coming to avail this course, after some time, they understood that this dialogue is very important, and this also brings into their awareness how to change their concept about how to relate with themselves, how to relate with others, and most especially with people of other living faiths and different religions. So the Silsila Dialogue movement has provided this opportunity for the Christians, of course, and for the Muslims as well, to rediscover once more that after all, it is God who takes the initiative in dialogue. We are inspired by our own different traditions, but the direction is to rediscover how God, until today, is in dialogue with humanity. So there's no such kind of conflict in this understanding, and this helps me a lot. And many people also understood that the way to sustain this spirituality of dialogue is to be deeply rooted in our spiritual life. And so, because many people understood what we are trying to promote, dialogue as a way to peace, and there's no other way, it's all dialogue as a way to peace. Hence, we developed the people who believe in this, and then we developed a new culture, a new way of relating to each other. It's a culture, so we call culture of dialogue as a path to peace.
Yes, I think maybe we will meet more and more about this point. It's really very rich what you are sharing to us. You shared to us about the summer course and other points, and we are grateful. Of course, I'm part of Silsila, but I can say, talking in the name of the CBCP, the Commission for Interreligious Dialogue, we are always happy to discover here and there effort. There are good effort of dialogue in the past and also in the present, and we, along the way, we can acknowledge some of this effort. So, as a conclusion, we can say that really the concept of interreligious dialogue is important. Interreligious dialogue do not diminish our faith. It's something that deepens our faith, at the end help us to rediscover once again that we are brothers and sisters.